Christmas Eve had always been complicated in the Martinez family, but this year felt different. The tension started the moment I walked through Mom's front door and saw the gleaming silver Mercedes in the driveway. "Nice car," I said to Mom as she hugged me. "New." "Oh, that's from Marcus," she said with a proud smile. "He surprised me yesterday. Says I deserve to drive something luxurious in my golden years." My brother Marcus appeared from the kitchen, wearing his usual smug expression. At 35, he'd built a successful career as a financial advisor and never let anyone forget it. His wife Jennifer followed behind him, carrying their twin daughters. "Hey little brother," Marcus said, not quite managing to hide his condescension. "Still driving that old pickup truck?" "It gets me where I need to go," I replied calmly. "David, you need to think bigger," he continued. "Mom's been telling us about your little auto repair shop. Maybe it's time to consider a real career path." I'd been hearing variations of this conversation for the past 8 years, ever since I'd left my corporate job to open Martinez Motors. What my family saw as a small-town garage, I'd quietly built into something much larger. But explaining that felt unnecessary when they'd already made up their minds about my life choices. "The shop keeps me busy," I said simply. "Well, some of us aim higher than just keeping busy," Marcus replied, straightening his expensive tie. "Speaking of which, Mom, should we tell him the news?" Mom looked uncomfortable. "Marcus, maybe we should wait until after dinner." "No time like the present," he said, putting his arm around her shoulders. "David, Mom's made a decision about her living situation. With Dad gone 2 years now, she shouldn't be alone in this big house." I nodded, sensing where this was heading. "She's going to come live with Jennifer and me. We have that beautiful guest suite. The girls adore their grandmother, and frankly, I can provide the kind of lifestyle she deserves." Mom looked at me apologetically. "David, honey, I know you offered to help, but Marcus is right. His house has everything. The security system, the pool. Jennifer doesn't work so she can keep me company during the day." "That sounds like a great arrangement," I said, and I meant it. "You should be wherever you feel most comfortable." Marcus seemed surprised by my easy acceptance. "Well, good. I'm glad you understand that this is what's best for her." "Of course. And don't worry about the house," he continued. "Jennifer and I will handle selling it. The real estate market is strong right now, and Mom deserves to get top dollar." Throughout dinner, Marcus dominated the conversation with stories about his latest investment successes and his plans for Mom's future. He'd already researched the best senior activities in his neighborhood, found her a new doctor who took premium insurance, and calculated how her Social Security and Dad's pension would contribute to household expenses. "The best part," he said as Jennifer served dessert, "is that Mom won't have to worry about anything. I'll handle her finances, her medical appointments, everything. She can just relax and enjoy being a grandmother." I watched Mom's face as he talked. She smiled and nodded, but I caught something in her expression, a flicker of uncertainty, maybe even sadness. "That's very generous of you, Marcus," I said. "Well, somebody has to step up and take responsibility," he replied. "Mom needs someone who can actually take care of her properly." The implication hung in the air. I was the brother who'd chosen blue-collar work over a professional career, who lived in a modest apartment instead of a suburban mansion, who drove a 10-year-old truck instead of luxury vehicles. After dinner, I helped Mom clean up while Marcus and Jennifer wrestled their overtired daughters into coats for the drive home. "David," Mom said quietly as we loaded the dishwasher, "I hope you know this isn't about. I mean, I'm grateful for everything you've done since Dad died." "Mom, you don't need to explain anything. Marcus is right, he can give you things I can't. But you've been here every week helping with the yard work and the repairs. You drove me to all those doctor appointments when I was too nervous to drive myself. And I'll keep doing that no matter where you live." She hugged me tightly. "I know you will, sweetheart. I just want you to know that this decision, it's practical, not personal." "I understand." As everyone gathered in the living room for gift exchanges, I noticed Marcus checking his phone frequently. Finally it rang. "Excuse me," he said, stepping into the hallway. I could hear his voice rising with agitation. He returned a few minutes later, looking frustrated. "Jennifer, we need to leave soon. There's some issue with the Mercedes." "What kind of issue?" Mom asked worriedly. "The dealership is saying there's a problem with the financing. Some nonsense about the loan not being properly approved." He waved his hand dismissively. I'll sort it out after Christmas. You know how incompetent car salesmen can be. I kept my expression neutral, though I knew exactly what was happening. Marcus had stretched himself thin to afford Mom's Christmas surprise, and his credit application had been flagged for verification. Maybe you should take it back tonight, Jennifer suggested. If there's really a financing problem. It's Christmas Eve, Marcus snapped. I'm not dealing with car salesmen tonight. Mom looked upset. Marcus, if the car isn't properly paid for, I shouldn't be driving it. Mom, don't worry about it. I'll handle everything tomorrow. The car is yours. But I could see the doubt creeping into her expression. She was starting to wonder if her son's grand gesture was built on shaky financial ground. The evening continued awkwardly, with Marcus growing more agitated each time someone mentioned the car. By the time they left, promising to pick Mom up the next morning for Christmas dinner at their house, the mood had shifted considerably. David, Mom said as I prepared to leave, what do you think about this car situation? I think Marcus wants to give you something nice, and sometimes that leads to making decisions quickly. You think he can't actually afford it? I chose my words carefully. I think Marcus loves you and wants the best for you. But maybe expensive gifts aren't the only way to show that. She nodded thoughtfully. Your father always said the best gifts come from the heart, not the wallet. Dad was a smart man. The next morning, Christmas Day, I was in my office at the shop when my phone rang. It was Mom and she sounded upset. David, can you come over? There are men here about the car. What kind of men? They say they're from the dealership. They want to take the Mercedes back. I was there in 15 minutes. 2 employees from Prestige Motors were standing in Mom's driveway, looking uncomfortable as she stood in her bathrobe, clearly distressed. Ma'am, we're sorry to bother you on Christmas, but we need to retrieve the vehicle, one of them was saying. The financing was declined and we can't leave it here without payment. But my son said he would handle it today. We've been trying to reach Mr. Martinez since yesterday, but he's not answering our calls. I approached the group. Good morning. I'm David Martinez. What seems to be the problem? Sir, are you related to Marcus Martinez? He's my brother. The dealership employee looked relieved to have someone to talk to. Your brother signed a lease agreement for this vehicle, but his credit application was declined. We extended courtesy delivery for Christmas Eve, but we need the car back today. I looked at Mom, who was clearly embarrassed and confused. Mom, why don't you go inside and get dressed? I'll handle this. David, I don't understand what's happening. It's okay. Just give me a few minutes to sort this out. After she went inside, I turned to the dealership employees. How much does my brother owe on this car? Sir, the monthly lease payment would be $1,847, but given the credit decline, we'd need a significant down payment or cosigner. What about purchasing it outright? The MSRP is $78,500. I pulled out my phone and made a call. Sir, it's David. I know it's Christmas, but I need you to process a wire transfer. Yes, the full amount. Martinez Motors account to Prestige Motors, $78,500. The employees looked surprised as I hung up. Gentlemen, you'll receive payment within the hour. Please prepare the title transfer paperwork for Mrs. Elena Martinez. Sir, are you sure? That's a substantial amount. I'm sure. 30 minutes later, Marcus arrived with his family, ready to pick up Mom for Christmas dinner. He pulled into the driveway behind the Prestige Motors van, his face immediately darkening. What the hell is going on here? He demanded, getting out of his own Mercedes. Good morning, Marcus, I said calmly. David, what are you doing here? And why are these people at Mom's house? One of the dealership employees stepped forward. Mr. Martinez, we came to discuss the vehicle financing issue, but it's been resolved. Your mother now owns the car free and clear. Marcus looked confused. What do you mean owns it? The vehicle has been purchased in full. We just need Mrs. Martinez to sign the title paperwork. Marcus turned to me, his face reddening. David, what did you do? I bought Mom's car. What? How could you possibly afford to buy a $78,000 car? The same way I've been able to help Mom with her expenses for the past 2 years while you assumed she was struggling. What expenses? Mom emerged from the house, now dressed and looking more composed. Marcus, David has been helping me with the house payments, the medical bills your father left behind, the property taxes. Marcus stared at me. That's impossible. You run a garage. I run several businesses, actually. Several. What are you talking about? I pulled out my phone and showed him the Martinez Motors website. Not the small repair shop page he'd seen, but the corporate site showing our 12 locations across 3 states. Martinez Motors has been the largest independent automotive group in the region for 4 years running, I explained calmly. We do everything from repairs to sales to custom builds. Marcus grabbed the phone, scrolling through the website in disbelief. This says you employ over 200 people. 248 as of last month. And you own all of this? I built it from the ground up, yes. Jennifer approached, looking at the phone over Marcus's shoulder. Marcus, it says here they had $47 million in revenue last year. That was a good year for us, I acknowledged. Marcus was staring at me like he'd never seen me before. David, why didn't you tell us? You never asked. Every time we talked, you'd lecture me about getting serious about my career. It seemed easier to let you think what you wanted to think. But you live in that apartment. I like my apartment. It's close to work and I don't need much space. And your truck is reliable, practical, and has sentimental value. Dad taught me to drive in that truck. Mom was looking between us with growing understanding. David, when you offered to help me after your father died. I meant it, Mom. I've been helping because I wanted to, not because I had to stretch my budget. Marcus sat down heavily on Mom's front steps. I don't understand. If you have all this money, why did you let me think I was the successful brother? Because you needed to think that. And because success isn't just about money, Marcus. What do you mean? I mean you've built a good life. You have a beautiful family, a career you're proud of, a nice home. The fact that my business happens to be larger doesn't diminish what you've accomplished. Marcus was quiet for a long moment. But I've been treating you like you were the failure in the family. I know. And you just let me. I let you because arguing about it wouldn't have changed anything. You saw what you needed to see. Jennifer approached carefully. David, we had no idea. Marcus talks about wanting to provide for your mother, but we've been struggling just to manage our own bills. There's no shame in that, I said. Raising twins is expensive. Marcus is doing his best for his family. But I can't actually afford to take care of Mom the way I promised, Marcus admitted quietly. The guest suite needs renovations we can't pay for. My insurance doesn't cover additional family members. And honestly, the Mercedes was financed at 23% interest because my credit is maxed out from the house down payment. Mom sat down beside him. Marcus, why didn't you tell me you were struggling? Because I wanted to be the son who could take care of you. David always seemed so content with his small life. I thought I was the one who made it, who could provide for family. You did make it, I said firmly. You have a profession you're good at, a family that loves you, and you've built something to be proud of. But not like you. Not like me. But that doesn't make it less valuable. The paperwork was completed and the Prestige Motors team left. We stood in the driveway, the gleaming Mercedes between us like a symbol of everything that had been misunderstood. Mom, Marcus said finally, I think maybe you should stay in your own house. Marcus. No, I mean it. David's right, I can't actually provide what I promised. And honestly, after seeing how you've been managing with his help, maybe you don't need to move anywhere. Mom looked at both of us. What I need is both my sons in my life. David, your help has been wonderful, but I don't want you to feel obligated to support me financially just because you can. It's not an obligation, Mom. And Marcus, I don't need grand gestures or expensive gifts. I need my family to be honest with each other. Marcus stood up and walked over to me. David, I owe you a massive apology. You don't owe me anything. Yes, I do. I've been condescending and dismissive for years. I assumed because you chose a different path it was a lesser path. Marcus. Let me finish. You've been quietly taking care of our mother while I was bragging about my plans to take care of her. You built something incredible while I was lecturing you about success. And you never once made me feel small about it, even when I was making you feel small. I extended my hand to him. We're brothers. That's what matters. He ignored my hand and hugged me instead. I'm proud of you, David. I should have said that years ago. I'm proud of you too. As we headed inside for a very different Christmas dinner than any of us had planned, Mom linked arms with both of us. "You know what the best part of today is?" she said. "What?" we asked together. "I get to keep my house, my independence, and both my sons. And," she added with a smile, "I have a very nice car to drive to visit my granddaughters." Marcus laughed. "Mom, about that car. David basically bought you a Mercedes for Christmas." "Actually," I said, "I bought it so you could give her the Christmas gift you wanted to give her. The car was your idea, your gesture. I just made sure the paperwork worked out." Marcus stopped walking. "You're going to let me take credit for buying her a car you paid for? I'm going to let you take credit for caring enough about our mother to want to give her something special." "David, that's too generous." "Marcus, for 8 years you've been telling me to think bigger about my career. Maybe it's time for both of us to think bigger about being brothers." That afternoon, as we sat around Mom's dining room table, the conversation was completely different than any Christmas we'd had in years. Marcus asked genuine questions about my business and I asked about the challenges of his work in raising twins. "You know what's funny?" Marcus said as we were having coffee. "All this time I thought I was the brother who had it figured out." "You do have it figured out, just differently than I do. But you're running a multi-million-dollar business empire. And you're raising 2 little girls who think you're the smartest, strongest man in the world. Which one of us is really more successful?" Mom smiled, watching us talk. "Your father always said success isn't about comparing yourself to others. It's about using your gifts to take care of the people you love." "Dad was smart," Marcus said. "Though I bet he would have gotten a kick out of David secretly being a business mogul while driving around in his old truck." "Dad would have been proud of both of you," Mom said. "David for building something from nothing and Marcus for trying to take care of his family even when it meant stretching beyond your means." As evening approached and Marcus's family prepared to leave, he pulled me aside. "David, I have a confession." "What's that?" "Part of me is relieved that I don't have to figure out how to afford taking care of Mom. I love her, but honestly, I was terrified about the financial reality of what I'd promised." "That's not a confession, that's honesty. Taking care of aging parents is expensive and complicated. But I still want to help." "Then help. Spend time with her. Include her in the girls' activities. Let her teach them to cook her recipes. That stuff matters more than money anyway." "You really mean that?" "Marcus, I can buy her cars and pay her bills, but I can't give her granddaughters or the pride of watching her son succeed in his career. We both have gifts to offer." Marcus nodded thoughtfully. "Maybe we could work together on this." "What do you mean?" "Well, you're good with the financial stuff and I'm good with, I don't know, the day-to-day family stuff. Maybe instead of competing to be the better son, we could just be better sons together." I smiled. "I like that idea." As they drove away, Mom and I stood in the driveway next to her new Mercedes. "It's a beautiful car," she said. "Marcus has good taste." "David, can I ask you something?" "Of course." "Are you happy? I mean, really happy with your life?" I thought about it. "I am, Mom. I love my work, I love being able to help you, and I love having my family back." "Even when Marcus was being awful to you?" "Marcus wasn't being awful. He was being protective of what he thought was his role in the family." "I understand that." She squeezed my arm. "Your father would be so proud of both of you." "I hope so. I know so. He always said the measure of a man isn't what he builds for himself, but what he builds for others." As I drove home that evening in my old pickup truck, I reflected on the day. Marcus wasn't wrong that I could have corrected his assumptions years ago. But there had been something valuable in letting him believe he was the successful brother. It had motivated him to work hard, to strive, to want to provide for family. Now that the truth was out, we could build a different kind of relationship, one based on mutual respect rather than perceived hierarchy. Marcus could stop trying to prove he was more successful than me, and I could stop hiding my success to protect his ego. The best part was that Mom would get the best of both worlds: financial security and emotional support, practical help and family connection. Sometimes the most successful ventures aren't the ones that generate the most revenue. Sometimes they're the ones that bring families closer together, that allow brothers to see each other clearly for the first time in years, and that prove success comes in many different forms. Marcus had been right about one thing: Mom deserved the best. She deserved sons who supported each other instead of competing, who were honest about their strengths and limitations, and who worked together to ensure she felt loved and cared for. And sometimes, the best Christmas gift you can give someone isn't a luxury car or financial security. Sometimes it's the gift of letting them discover that their family is stronger, more capable, and more loving than they ever realized. As I pulled into my apartment complex, I made a mental note to call Marcus in a few days. We had a lot of lost time to make up for, and I was looking forward to getting to know my brother. Not the image he'd been projecting, but the man he actually was. Success, I'd learned, was much more complicated and much more rewarding than any of us had understood.